postseason must seem just like a bad dream.
There's days when you just don't come to play, and when you don't come to play and the other ones do, then you're in a bad time.
For while the defense sometimes would click, against the Bengals, they couldn't hit worth the lick.
Were you guys really that bad today?
Yes.
The films provide some clues. Dallas is a blitzing team, and when the blitz does not work, you get burned. But there's another theory. It's that the defense might be so good, it creates more problems than it can solve.
Our defense is so finely tuned that if your techniques are not good against a good operating offense, we'll get hurt pretty bad, as you saw in the film.
As physical as football can be, it's also a mental game. The beating by the Bears had just become a memory when the Bengals whipping occurred. So now the defense has to psych itself up again this Sunday.
If you're not mad at yourself for a game like that, then I don't think you should be playing football.
The other guys are out there trying to defeat you, and you have to stay together because you're going to have your ups and downs throughout the season. And I think the ability for this team to bounce back is showing that togetherness.
We are where we want to be. You know, we have a chance to accomplish our goal to win the East and pick up a little extra cash here and there.
To get the cash, the defense is counting on their old hands to see them through.
It's been our older guys, our leaders that have come through, and people like Everson Walls, like Dennis Thurman, who have maintained their excellence. You know, nobody predicted us to do what we've done, and we've done it with the same club we did it with last year when we were not in the playoffs.
It's been said that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. It's a lesson the Dallas defense has had to learn the hard way.
We beat St. Louis when we had to beat them, come back. We beat Philadelphia when we had to beat them. It's a test every week, it's a challenge every week, one as players we enjoy. And whether we got beat 50-24 or 100-24, we're going to be out there, we're going to be fighting, we're going at the Giants, and we're going to win this division.
You know, despite the Dallas Cowboys' defensive slump, they still have an excellent defense. And Parcells told me that in order for the Giants to break it, he has a few trick plays up his sleeve. Oh, by the way, expect the Cowboys to come up with a few trick plays, too, against the Giants. Should be wide open. Brett?
All right, Herb. Jim McMahon, what about the Cowboy defense? The Bears humiliated them down in Texas. What do you think of that group?
Well, I think their defense is just very aggressive. You know, they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback and they take a lot of chances. And when they do that, they're susceptible to the big play, and that's what's been happening to them.
Johnny, how do you look at the Giant effort down in Dallas today in that game?
I think Giants are going to have to be 110%, Brett, to be able to beat Dallas.
All right, we'll continue with the NFL today on CBS in just a moment. About exploiting the success they've enjoyed this season. You know, they seem to be scoring as many points off the field as they do in the games that count on the field. And one of their latest ventures is a music video that perfectly reflects their breezy self-confidence. And to no one's surprise, they're calling it the Super Bowl Shuffle.
We are the Bears, shuffling through, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so fast, we know we're good, blowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble, we're just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running and falling like Mickey Moore Mance. We had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ.
I'm the punky QB known as McMahon. When I hit the turf, I've got no plan. I just throw my body all over the field. I can't dance, but I can throw the field. I motivate the cats, I like to tease. I play so cool, I aim to please. That's why you all got here on the double to catch me doing the Super Bowl Shuffle.
You're looking at the Fridge, I'm the rookie. I may be large, but I'm no dumb cookie. You see me hit, you see me run. When I kick and pass, we'll have more fun. I can dance, you will see. The others, they all learn from me. I didn't come here looking for trouble. I just came to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
A monster hit. Easier than playing quarterback?
I'll tell you what, playing quarterback's a lot easier than doing videos. And, you know, I basically got into it because the Chicago needy people were, you know, we're in trouble, and that's the main reason I got involved with it.
All right, Jim. But I have a program note for those of you in the Washington and Los Angeles areas. A reminder that the CBS games in your cities will begin later this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see the rest of you at halftime, along with Jim McMahon and Johnny Unitas. So long, everybody.
The year was 1963, the last time the New York Giants won the National Football League's Eastern Conference title. These Giants dominated the NFL in the late 50s and early 60s. The symbols of that dynasty are embodied in the names and faces of men who are legends, men who helped shape NFL history. One of the teams the Giants beat up on in the early 60s was the Dallas Cowboys, whose head coach Tom Landry had previously been a defensive coach with the Giants. The Cowboys then were a far cry from the Cowboys of recent years. Offensively, they were hardly explosive, while the defense was mostly self-destructive. It wasn't unusual at all to see their best plays backfire. But by the 70s, the situations had reversed. Landry's teams had won 2 Super Bowls. But today, the Giants are back on top with a new exciting style and a never-say-die attitude that has restored the pride and winning tradition that was once synonymous with the name Giants. Today's heroes are Sims and Morris and Taylor and Marshall, who along with the rest of their team are on the doorstep of the NFC East title. But in their way are the Dallas Cowboys, who seek to regain the title themselves. Tony Dorsett is having one of his best seasons, and the Dallas defense, led by Randy White, is not about to take the Giants' challenge without a fight. The Cowboys are the proven winners in the NFC East and have their own tradition to protect. They've met 46 times before today, but never in a game as important as this. The NFC East title is on the line. The Giants against the Cowboys next on CBS.
It is a sellout stadium at Texas Stadium in Irving, of course, for this meeting between the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys on Week 15 of the 1985 NFL season. And we have been blessed with gorgeous mid-December weather. Temperature at kickoff, 42 degrees, a slight wind out of the southwest, and the forecast for continued clear skies. A look at the standings makes it easy to discuss the importance of the game. If Dallas wins today, they win the NFC Eastern title. If the Giants win today and win next week, or either Dallas or Washington loses, the Giants will win the championship for the first time in 22 years. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw. These two proud franchises first played each other in 1960, and it is perhaps a testimony to the differing fortunes of each that this is the first time in the ensuing 25 years that Dallas has played New York this late in the season with a division championship on the line. Terry, what strikes you as something that might be a key element to look for in terms of a Giant victory?
Well, one of the things that Bill Parcells told me last night, and he repeated it several times, Vern, was the fact that they feel like they have to get to Danny White, not necessarily sack him, which would be nice, but they would like to touch him, bump him, kick him around a little bit, make him hurry his throws, because they feel like if they can do this, they'll take Danny out of his rhythm and he'll start worrying about the rush of the line. If they can do that, if they allow him to get set, though, they feel like they're in for a long day. So pressure on White.
Two of the amazing stories of the 85 seasons for the Cowboys, 44 points given up to Chicago, 50 to Cincinnati. Now, how in the world do you come back and get something going defensively?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm glad you and I don't have to answer it. The problem, or the solution today for the Cowboys, talking to Ernie Stotner, we have got to find that intimidating, that striking defense that is so reminiscent of the Cowboys of old. We have the ability today. The key for us to beat the New York Giants is for our defense to be dominating.
It is all on the line, and Eric Schubert is ready to kick off. The Cowboys have won the toss, and Kenny Duckett, in only his second game for Dallas, is the deep man. This will not be Duckett. James Jones gives the Cowboys excellent field position at the 29-yard line. And for Dallas, Danny White joins Dorsett, Timmy Newsome, and injured Tony Hill will start. He's had a pulled hamstring and has not practiced this week. Mike Renfro is the other wide receiver. Chris Schultz goes against Leonard Marshall, the other offensive line. Titans are Tom Rafferty starting his 140th straight game. Kurt Peterson, Jim Cooper, and a hobbled Doug Cosby, who also missed 2 days of practice this week. First down 10 Dallas. Cowboys will throw on first down across the middle to Cosby. Good for the catch at the 37-yard line. Kenny Hill, number 48, makes the tackle. Defensively for the Giants, and it is a dandy. McGriff, Burt, and Leonard Marshall up front. The linebackers, best quartet in the NFL, or NFC certainly. Hunt, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor. And in the secondary, Elvis Patterson, Perry Williams, Kenny Hill, and Terry Kennard. Mark Haynes is on the injured reserve list. Second down, 2 Cowboys. 2 wide receivers set, left side. That is Newsom out of the backfield. And Dorsett with a quick pitch. To the 47-yard line. Harry Carson, 53. Terry Kennard, 43. Finally caught up with it.
First, right out of the box, we saw a nice short pass to Cosby by White. Got his rhythm. Now we see a little opposite set and go back to the tight end side. Good blocking by the entire right side of the Cowboys as Dorsett picks up the first down. And then Carson had to come over and make the stop.
First down of the game. The Cowboys 1st and 10 at their own 47. Dorsett. And that offensive line did move the pile for Dorsett. He's across the Giant country as Curtis McGriff, number 76, made the tackle.
Vern, one of the things you really like to look for early in a ball game is as people come out and they just attack guys, run the ball simply. All they're trying to do is just establish contact. But boy, in the first 3 plays, we've seen the offensive line of the Cowboys really stick it in there to the defensive line of those Giants, hold them up, create holes. White's had time to throw, and Dorsett's got the big yardage.
That's a gain of 6 for Dorsett. Second down, 4. Newsom in motion. Flag is down. Free play for White. Caught by Tony Hill. If the play stands, Tony Hill has now set a single season record of 74 catches. He breaks a tie he had with Ron Springs. And that also is the 59th consecutive game in which he has caught a pass, breaking a tie he held with Drew Pearson.
Defense, right side of the line, offside, decline, first down.
Fred Silva, the referee, and Tony Hill occupies a couple of spots in the Cowboy record book alone.
One of the things you like about their passing attack is the fact that Danny's setting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plant, boom, throw the football. So they really know exactly what they want to do here early in this first drive.
First down, 10 at the 38. 2 wide receivers again come left side. Dorsett the motion man. Newsom. Little counter play. He starts right and cuts back to the left and runs right into Jim Burt. Nose guard, number 64. Newsom did not have a great day in Cincinnati last week. There is Jim Burt. Doesn't get a lot of publicity, but widely regarded as one of the best blue-collar nose tackles in the business.
Well, those nose tackles, you know, those guys are about 6'1", 6'2", weigh, 280 to 300 pounds, and they get down, look at him, just big, strong guy, and they get down there and root these guys out and tie up the middle, and he does an outstanding job of it.
Teams have not run well against New York. Second down and 7. White to throw. Little pressure, flips it out incomplete. Intended for Newsom. It was Andy Hedden, number 54, the linebacker who drew beat White and almost got there.
Well, that's the first time that, as we look at Hedden, 54, guy they like to bring in situations where they're anticipating pass because he's so good at rushing the passer and also Vernon dropping those backs. But that was one of the things that Parcells had told us early. He said, we want to rush White. We don't necessarily have to sack him, and that was a good case sack him, but they forced that throw.
From the shotgun for the first time. 3rd and 7 at the New York 35. A lot of time for White, and Kennard stepped Cosby and should have had it. Terry Kennard almost interception. It'll be 4th down.
Well, you're going to see a great effort by Kennard as White steps into the pocket and gives them plenty of time, but there's no reason to throw this ball. Gosh, look at that. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 Giants sitting around Cosby. Ideal thing to do there, step up in the pocket and go somewhere else.
It would be a 52-yard field goal for Raphael Septien. Tom Landry says no, we'll go with Mike Saxon. There is Phil McConkey. He waits at the 13-yard line. That's a deliberate delay of game by the Cowboys. That'll back them up 5 yards.
Offense, delay.
Giants, of course, won both games against the Cowboys last year, and in reality, it was the second loss here, 19-7, that caused the Cowboys a playoff spot. There's Bill Parcells, 22-25-1, now in his 3rd year as the head coach. And Tom Landry, who is prowling the sidelines for the 405th time of a Dallas Cowboy game. Saxon moves back 5 more to the 45. Could be. How about that? Touchback.
Great effort. Look at Saxon. Doggone it, I thought I had it. That was a good shot and a great effort by the Cowboys that time.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Maurice Carthen opens in the backfield with Joe Morris, and Morris does not get the handoff. Sims comes deep right side, and it is incomplete. Everson Walls contending with Byron Williams. The Giants lineup will have Sims at quarterback, and in the backfield, Morris and Maurice Carthen, Byron Williams and Bobby Johnson. Lionel Manuel, of course, the leading receiver on the team, is on injured reserve. The offensive line, Brad Benson, Billy Ard, Bart Oates, Chris Godfrey, Carl Nelson, and a hobbled Mark Bavaro, who sprained an ankle in practice Friday, but he is starting. Bill McConkey has come into the wide receiver set now, 2nd and 10. Joe Morris for about 4. Cowboy defense has given up 428 yards per game in the last 4, and here are the culprits: Jones, Dutton, White, and Jeffco. The linebackers, as the Giants go with a no-huddle offense. And here's Sims back on the left side. He's got a man open. McConkey has a first down at the 39-yard line. Well, Bill Parcells told us last night they might go with a no-huddle. They did some last week against Houston, and he also said they borrowed it from Cincinnati.
I said, Coach, where did you come up with this no-huddle offense? He said, there you are. Illegal procedure on the Cowboys. I'm sure they'll decline that.
Defense, 12 men on the field, refuse, first down.
And he said they picked it up from watching the films of the Bengals, and one of the things they like about it is the fact that that you can get up there and get penalties just like this. 12 men on the field of play, which is illegal. I'll get into it more later.
First down, 10, Giants. Joe Morris with Carthen in front. Goes left, cuts back, breaks one, can't break the other. Loses a yard. Terry, one point about the no-huddle that we talked about last night with them. It's a little tougher to run the no-huddle when you're on the road, isn't it?
Well, if it's, I don't know. I never ran
because of the crowd noise.
The crowd noise may be a factor. They're bringing those signals. As you can see, they're flashed in. But the point being is that you can get up there and catch a team off guard. You can run your plays faster, and all you got to do is say ready, and everybody jumps down and gets set and you snap the ball, which is what happened. They got them that penalty.
2nd and 10. No score in the game. 10:55 to go, first quarter. McConkey in motion. Blitz is coming. Sims going deep down the middle. McConkey is going to score. Drops it. Navy men around the world have just jumped off ships.
You're looking at McConkey, number 80. He's flying down the field. No one there. And there's the pass. Boy, hits him on the right hand. He didn't get both hands on the football, Vern, and drops the football. No one there. All that was a linebacker blitz, not a safety blitz, and the responsibility for the deep middle. Someone messed up.
Graduate of the Naval Academy. 3rd and 9. Shotgun. Bart Oates over the ball. Cowboys are not blitzing. They are stunning defensively. Byron Williams has the ball drilled and incomplete. Williams is the fastest of the receivers. He does not have great hands. You saw an example of it then. I think McConkey will go in the same category, given evidence of that first play. Sean Landetta is on the punt.
Well, those are two fine throws by Sims, hitting them right in the hands. One could have been a touchdown. It wasn't. It wasn't. Comes back, hits Williams. He drops it.
Gordon Banks, fresh in a Cowboy uniform, and a great kick by Landetta. Banks will let it go. Touchback. And for the New York Giants, it's a case of woulda, coulda, and shoulda. We are scoreless. Cincinnati and the Redskins are notched at 7 in the first quarter. Cleveland over Houston by 7, their first quarter score. Buffalo leads Pittsburgh by 7. And Detroit playing at home, of course, beats Green Bay 7-0 in the first quarter. Indianapolis over Tampa Bay. And we have 10:29 to go, first quarter here. Cowboys second set, they've got it from their own 20-yard line. After hearts beat rapidly among the fans of the defensive unit of the Cowboys here at Texas Stadium. Dorsett to the 23-yard line. Harry Williams, number 23, made the tackle. Dorsett back in 1980 in New York rushed for 183 yards against the Giants. That was a game the Giants won 38-35. He has not gained over 100 against New York since then. That is one of the 3 games in which he has rushed for over 100, as a matter of fact, and the Cowboys have lost. But
I knew we would get that.
Well-known graphic. Now we've dispensed with that for the day. Second down and 6. Gotta have to hurry. They got 3 seconds to go before they draw a delay of game call. Danny White has to call timeout.
Well, you got to figure a play like that, they probably run all week in practice, Vernon. What happens is it more than likely could have been a new play from a new formation, or it could have been an old play from a new formation, and they just weren't real sure because none of them seemed to know exactly what they were going to do.
Well, they used one of the 3. Coming up next Saturday, a special edition of the NFL Today, the NFL Then and Now. We'll cover the last 20 years. That starts at 3:30 Eastern Time. And that will be followed by the NFL Today, Washington Redskins, and the St. Louis Cardinals, 3:30 Eastern Time. All of that next Saturday here on CBS Sports. Redskins just refuse to die. They are still in the playoff hunt, and they will remain there if they can defeat Cincinnati today.
You know, those Redskins, as we look at Tom Landry and Danny White, you know, they kind of gave up on them when Theismann went down, and that Schrader guy's come in there and rallied them. They played well, won a lot of games, still in the hunt.
Now the Cowboys will regroup with a second down and 6. 9:44 to go first quarter. Dallas looked crisp on its first offensive set. They got as far as the 35-yard line. The Giants on their first offensive set had McConkey open down the middle for a touchdown.
Yeah, the Cowboys, Vern, they drive down, they look pretty sharp, and then they bad throw by White to Cosby, and then all of a sudden the Giants, they turn that thing around, and boy, they hit the big pass and it's dropped. They turn around on the 3rd down pass and it's dropped. So, you know, that old confidence level has got to be a little bit low, really, on both sides here.
Giants have only won 3 times here. Last year 19-7, and before that in 1974 and in 1972. The only Giant victories against the Cowboys here. From the I formation, and just by the way, 5 linebackers in now for New York. Dorsett, he's got some room. A flag is down back to the 29. As expected, holding Dallas.
Offense, number 61, at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage. Holding.
Jim Cooper. And that wipes out a 22-yard gain for Tony Dorsett.
Well, there's a chance you're not going to see the Giants come back out in that defensive set. That time they stacked their linebackers, Vern, stacked them in between their tackle and nose guard and outside wide. And boy, the Cowboys did a super job of going right in there and blowing them out and getting a big gain. Of course, unfortunately for them, they had a holding call.
Second down, 16. Not a time. Catch is made, but not for much. Doug Cosby, the tight end. Kenny Hill, number 48, was right there to make the tackle.
The thing that's impressive is that White is having time. He's getting a 5-step drop, plenty of time. Boy, the offensive line doing a good job. That time, Martin, 75, held up from going inside. And then Danny just stayed to the right side, never came off of Cosby, and virtually no gain, actually lost 5 yards. Now look at Schultz, 66, the left tackle, and Marshall. Boy, he's doing a good job. Got a little hole in there, but Marshall says, I expect that.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 15, White with a rollout. Looks back, fires the ball, caught, and it'll be a first down at the 31. Carl Poe, number 81. He is a 7th-round draft choice from Alabama State.
Well, they put a linebacker outside. This time, actually, Poe comes around Reasons. Now, you see him in the slot as he's going to come downfield. Hunt turns him loose. Reasons, 55, is dropping back, going to the outside. Now, Poe sees this, and he stopped. Now, he comes back to the right side, and boy, White fires it in there to get a first down. Reason gets up, and he said, hey, he pushed me off.
That is only his 6th catch of his career. Danny White told him Friday, Carl, if you have to play a lot, you're going to catch 6 for 180 today. First down, 10, Dallas from the 31-yard line. Scoreless first quarter, 7:40 to go. Dorsett for about 3 to the 34. There is Carson and Lawrence Taylor make the tackle. Cincinnati, with that potent offense, has gone on top of the Redskins 14-7. Our score, 0-0. 7:20 to go, first quarter. And again, it's very simple. If the Cowboys win, they win the NFC Eastern Division title for the first time since 1981. If the Giants win, it's their first division title in 22 years. Providing, of course, that they win one more or either Dallas or Washington loses one more. Not quite so simple for New York. Second down, 6. White pressured this time. Threw it away. There is no flag for intentional grounding, though the Giants will claim that's what happened.
Now, if you're in Giants Stadium and White throws this ball to this place, he erupts, booing, everything, hollering. But the thing a quarterback can do is you see Taylor says, now look, that's intentional grounding, right? Wrong. Anytime a quarterback's in trouble, if he'll just throw it down the field, anywhere, it doesn't really matter. They won't call a penalty. But if he throws it out of bounds, throws it to the flat, out on the flat, hey, they'll throw that flag up there and call him for intentional grounding.
Carl Poe has come back in as a 3rd wide receiver on 3rd and 6. And again, the spread formation. Giants don't blitz a lot. They're sending 5 this time. White, deep left side, incomplete. Oh, caught! And it's Carl Poe again. After Newsom kicked it, Poe caught it. And Danny White was belted. And is still down. There's also a flag down. We may have holding.
Holding, number 66, decline.
Well, that's Chris Schultz, 66, the guy that we talked about earlier on Marshall. I'm sure a while ago he held him up. A while ago you saw him with his hands on him. That time they caught him holding. Left side of your screen, you can see Schultz.
Offense, number 66, holding, 10 yards.
Actually, it looks like he grabbed him with his hand and actually gave Marshall, Vern just kind of pulled him around and gave him a little momentum and threw him right into Danny White, so he probably is responsible for that.
That's 1 for Cooper and 1 for Schultz, 1 for each tackle here in this possession. Watch Chris Schultz
now we get
Marshall.
Excuse me, Vern, get a good look. There's the left arm up under his throat. Now the left hand pushes him off. Now Marshall's by him, and now Schultz reaches out and grabs him with the right arm and tries to sling him to the ground.
3rd down, 16. rush again. White, deep right side. Man is down there. Renfro has it. He killed New York the first time out with 10 catches.
Well, you see Ted Watts, 21, comes inside. Now, you see Mike try to fight back inside, and Watts holds up just for a second, respecting that move, and a perfectly thrown ball that time by White. You know, he made that little move like he was going to go inside. Then Watts said, hold it, it's going inside. So he planted Vern to drive inside. Then that was just that little bit of space, that separation he needed to get loose and make the catch.
10 of those 47 yards and 141 of those, 10 of those 47 catches and 141 yards came against New York. Fumbled by Dorsett. Picks it up, now he'll freelance. And will feel fortunate to lose only a yard. Andy Hedden, number 54, made the tackle. Dorsett opened the game last week on the second play against Cincinnati with a fumble that was kicked backwards 25 yards.
Well, how many times do you see a quarterback turn around and make one of those simple little pitches to the tailback, and then they drop the ball, and then a guy like Dorsett picks it up and makes a big play out of it.
New quarterback for the Cowboys. Gary Hogaboom has now replaced Danny White. Second down and 12. White is holding his wrist on the Cowboys sideline. Play fake. Pressure. Hogaboom in trouble. He is sacked. That's the 62nd sack for the Giants this year. As Andy Hedden got around Phil Pozderac and made the tackles.
You're going to see Hedden in the bottom as he comes outside. As you see, Renfro's going to come out and get out of the way, and the Hedden's going to get in, beat off the pressure, and then he's the guy that's going to make the sack this time on the quarterback, Hogaboom. Now he comes up, now he sees Dorsett, jumps over him, pushes him out, and then goes back inside and knocks down Hogaboom.
Third down, 16. Seems like we've said that before. It'll be 4th and 10. Jerome Salley, number 78, makes the tackle. And that will bring on Mike Saxon. There is Danny White, left holding his wrist. After a very nice start today, 5 of 8 for 67 yards. Well, the Cowboy drive stalls after they overcome 2 3rd and 16s, but this one they can't, and Mike Saxon's on the punt again. Bill McConkey waits for it at the 12-yard line. No score, 4:20 to go, first quarter. That's going to be dangerous. At the 7-yard line. A 41-yard kick. Giants get it back at their own 7. Just a moment ago, Danny White headed back toward the Cowboy locker room, accompanied by the team physicians, to check what is now diagnosed as a bruised left shoulder. He is expected to return. In the meantime, the Giants take over for the second time at their own 7-yard line. No score. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw here at Texas Stadium. Joe Morris for about 3. Joe Morris has just had a phenomenal second half of the season. 717 yards in the last 7 games. 14 touchdowns in the last 7 games. He has scored 17 touchdowns this year, and the Cowboys, as a team, have 10 on the ground. And there's a comparison of his first 7 and his last 7. And the average length of those touchdowns has been 13 yards. They haven't all come from inside the 3-yard line. Second down and 7. Morris again with Carthon in front. He's in trouble. But he is seldom brought down by the first tackle. Ed Jones and Mike Hegman finally shove shoulders together and get him off his feet. And the prevent defense hurries in because the Giants are going with a no-huddle. And the Cowboy crowd catches what's going on, and they start hollering.
Right now, the receivers do a smart thing. They come into Sims so he can call the play. Then they go back out.
Now, Cleveland, Terry, tried the no-huddle here early in the year, and the crowd got him out of it. Sims in the flat. No flag. Bates and Morris had contact. It'll be 4th down. They did more than just politely meet each other.
Yeah, the crowd can get loud, but the fact that the receivers came to Sims, Vern, he called the play, and then they ran back out, but it still didn't look like much happened. Bates was all over Morris that time.
Sean Landeta kicked it 60 yards first time out, and Gordon Banks is back to return for the second time. Last time he was in a football uniform and played was in the USFL championship game, Oakland Invaders. Here is Gordon Banks from Stanford with great speed. A flag is down. So is the ball. And the Giants have it if the play stands. There is a flag down. Recovered by the center, Bart Oates, and Fred Silva is going to straighten this one out. Now, this is one of those pre-possession or post-possession penalties, and it will determine who gets to keep the ball.
Kicking team, number 55. Illegal block above the waist. Previous spot, 10 yards.
The flag was thrown prior to the fumble. And Bart Oates doesn't agree. Neither does Bill Parcells.
Well, you can bet one thing. You can holler and yell all you want, but you're not going to change that guy's opinion. He said it. He said it. You can just go ahead and chisel it in stone.
So it's a half a distance call. Landeta is backed up within a heel mark at the end of the end zone. And Banks, thinking about that fumble, waits at the 50. No pressure. Nice high kick. Fair catch called by Gordon Banks. And the Cowboys have it 42 yards away as Bill Bates provides some protection. A 37-yard kick by Sean Landeta of the Giants. The Cowboys come out. They get it back. We have no score. 2:35 to go first quarter. Christmas Day on CBS Sports begins with the Blue-Gray All-Star Football Classic. Some of the nation's top seniors will be there, including Knapp McCallum from Navy and Notre Dame's Alan Pinkett. Then the NBA returns as Larry Bird, Bill Walton, and Boston Celtics visit Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks, both Christmas Day here on CBS. Scoreless first quarter. Gordon Banks is into the wide receiver spot now, replacing Tony Hill. He is lined up to the left side, and flags fly. May have been motion which drew the Giants across.
What they're doing that time, as you look at Bird.
Offense, number 75. False start.
That's Phil Pozderac, who has replaced Jim Cooper, at least for the moment, at right tackle. Cooper is out with a pinched nerve in his shoulder.
You know, these guys put their hands down, and boy, if you move those fingers or pick them up just a little bit, these guys are reading that defensive lineman, that is, and boy, they come flying off the football. And that time, evidently, Phil had picked his hand up, and so these guys jumped off and gave him a little penalty.
First and 15 after the 5th Cowboy penalty. 4th penalty of the first quarter. Play fake. Hogaboom. That is the 63rd sack of the 1985 season. Now, where will they say the contact came? It was the safety blitz, Terry Kennard.
Well, it's an unusual blitz. Normally, your blitzes come from your strong safety. But this time it was Kennard, 43, coming from his weak safety position as the Cowboys are trying to roll to the right. Now, you're going to see him as he comes in from this side. He'll be coming in from right this angle, folks, and he's just full speed, and he's going to meet Gary Hogaboom right when he sets up. Now, there he is, right there, 43. No one picks him up. Hogaboom moving to his right. No one is responsible for blocking him, and he makes the sack.
That is a loss of 23. It's second down and 33 of Tony Hill back in the lineup. Dorsett with Titanson in front. Out to the 43-yard line. Jerome Sally, number 78, made the tackle. That's his second of the game.
Well, you know, you try to get, when you have a big penalty like that, and then when you compound your problems with your quarterback getting sacked, so the natural nice thing to do is, you know, Vern, is just get 5 or 6 yards, nice little safe pass, 10 yards, maybe 15 yards, but the worst thing you can do is try to get 25 or 30 yards.
Gary Hogeboom started one game this year. That was in Philadelphia when White was out with an injury. He also played in a loss in Detroit. He played in the loss to Chicago here. And he played one down against Cleveland here, but hasn't had a lot of activity this season. Deep right side, wide open. Renfro. Touchdown. He is the possession receiver, no speed at all. And he is having the best season of his career. And he burns the Giants deep on 3rd and 27. Septien makes it a 7-0 game. That is Jim Schaffner giving Mike Renfro a hug. Started his association with the Cowboys as a ball boy when his dad was a coach here.
Well, you're going to see 21 Watts again, comes in. Now he's looking inside. He says, there's Renfro. Now here's that move again to the outside. Watts bites on it, and bang, right by him goes Renfro. Now he's wide open. Boy, Hogeboom throws a beautiful pass. Now here's what I'm interested in. Now you see Welch come over. Now they're going to come up gaining on him. Now Renfro's not the fastest guy. They get him. Now Watts jumps on his back, knocks the ball loose before he has control, getting into the end zone. Now here's what is so amazing. No one goes to pick up the football. Look at Watts. Where's the ball? Nowhere. He's looking at the ref. Is it a touchdown? Renfro says, my football, my touchdown. Boy, that is smart heads-up football by Renfro, and a lack of really being aware of what's happening by the defensive secondary of the Giants.
You're saying that the fumble occurred before the ball crossed the plane.
Did not cross the plane, and the Giants weren't real sure. They were looking at the ref waiting for him to make a call, and the ball's bouncing around the end zone.
Septien, Tony Galbraith. Todd Fowler and Brian Salonen make the tackle at the 23. The Cowboys out of a 3rd and 27, and heaven knows they have had a number of 3rd and longs early in this game. Get the bomb from Hogeboom to Mike Renfro. Acquired a couple of years ago in a trade for Butch Johnson. It was thought he was going to be a backup receiver here. And it turns out that he is having the best year of his career. Maurice Carthen and Joe Morris line up in the eye behind Phil Simms. Joe Morris to the 40. Eugene Lockhart had to hurry to catch him from behind.
Tell you, if you sit around these Giants that drive this football over the field, you're going to see a little play action to Morris, who goes up inside. Now, Lockhart jams the tight end Bavaro crossing, and just by jamming him, he opens up the lane for Simms to hit. That time, Morris for a nice gain in the first down.
Bill McConkey checks back in as a wide receiver. Only 18 seconds to go, first quarter, 7-0 Dallas. Play fake, Simms looks deep. Goes deep right side to a wide open McConkey, and he is out of bounds at the 42-yard line in front of Everson Walls.
McConkey in the bottom here, isolated on Walls, 24. Walls evidently not respecting him so much as he looks inside, looking at Simms all the way. Never once had his eyes on McConkey, who just simply drives down there 12, 15 yards, turns around. Simms hits him with the football.
First down, 10, New York. Morris to the 39-yard line. Mike Hickman, number 58, makes the tackle.
No, you might ask yourself, Vern, why are they want to run the football and when they're throwing the ball so successfully? But Parcells said, look, at some point in this game, we have got to establish the run if we want to win.
It has been an exciting first quarter. We still have 3 to go. Sellout crowd on hand at Texas Stadium, and the Cowboys lead it 7-0. Cowboys lead the Giants 7-0. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw. Giants with a second down and 6 from the 39. A reverse. Pitch back to Phil Simms.
Wide
Looks
open.
deep. Nobody open. Lobs it out behind Bavaro, and it's incomplete.
Bobby Johnson, 88, coming across the field, Vern, when they threw the football back to Simms, was wide open, had 5 steps on his man. But Simms did not see him and didn't turn his vision off. There he is right there. That is open. Fellow's just trailing. That's 4 or 5 yards. All you can do is lay that baby out.
Simms never got there. It'll be 3rd down and 7. The Giants are 1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. They trail by 7 with 14:53 to go first half. From the shotgun, Galbraith lined up to the left. No blitz. Randy White comes and gets him. That's the 8.5 sack for Randy White this year. Sean Landetta replaces Phil Simms as the key figure for the Giants.
White in the bottom. As you see him fake the blitz, he's going to come right up inside. Beats his man that time badly. Beats Billy Yard, the left guard, badly.
Landetta quickly kicks it and gets a New York roll. It'll be out of bounds near the 11-yard line. Boy, he's been a find. Out of the USFL, took the spot that had been occupied for so many years by Dave Jennings. And the Cowboys get it at the 11, and Danny White has come out of the locker room and is back in at quarterback. Well, how about that substitution for Gary Hogeboom?
Well, you'd said so many bad things about Hogeboom in the times he had played, and they had lost, that he came in there and was going to shut you up with that long touchdown pass to Renfro, and now White's back in the football game. So obviously Landry's not going to have any quarterback controversy by putting White back in there. Well, they were a guy short on the field. Danny's going over there now, and he's going to tell him to play.
Gordon Banks it is, who is into the wide receiver. Dorsett. Little slither move as he gets across the line of scrimmage out near the 18-yard line. Kenny Hill and Lawrence Taylor make the tackle. Boomer Esiason has thrown 2 touchdown tosses. Cincinnati leads the Redskins by 14. 49ers in New Orleans are scoreless. Cleveland over Houston by 2 touchdowns. Minnesota, Atlanta scoreless. Our score is 7-0 as Detroit leads Green Bay 14-3. 2nd down and 2. Play fake. Flag is down. 1 hopper to Carl Poe. And now we'll check the infraction. Here's Greg Silva. Dallas, and if accepted as it should be, that'll be their 5th penalty of the first half. Curtis McGriff, Leonard Marshall, and Harry Carson.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving, 5 yards.
Fifth penalty for 35 yards against Dallas. Buffalo over Pittsburgh. Drake Bell had a 77-yard run in that game. And Tampa Bay's Donald Igwe-Buike has now kicked a 48-yard field goal.
Thought you'd gotten away from that name, didn't you?
Your old buddy Iggy. 2nd down, 7.
My buddy Donald.
Double tight end set. White, deep left side, good coverage. Incomplete. Intended for Tony Hill.
Well, Tony Hill had one of those injuries last week. He had a hamstring where he landed on his neck and pulled his hamstring. So, you know, I guess you got to be careful when you land on your neck so you don't pull a hamstring. But that time, Vern, he had about a half step on his man. Danny laid the football out. But what happened was Hill slowed down. He gave up on the route, and the ball looked poorly thrown.
3rd down, 7. What would happen if you land on your hamstring?
But then you hurt your neck.
Carl Poe and Gordon Banks both in. Cowboys will operate from the shotgun. 5-man rush. White to Hill, incomplete. It'll be a punting situation. Larry Williams, number 23, covering from the cornerback spot. And now Mike Saxon will kick from the end zone. Saxon is from San Diego, played his collegiate ball at San Diego State. Had a funny bit last week when they were getting ready to go play in Cincinnati. He said he had slept all week with his toes outside the covers to get ready for the cold weather in Cincinnati. Well, no such problem here today. Bill McConkey waits for it. And we'll grab it at the 44. Bounces off the first hit from James Jones, and then Jones comes back to make the tackle. A 3-yard return after a 42-yard kick. Cowboys lead by 7. 13:26 remaining in the first half. Cowboys lead at 7-0 on a touchdown toss to Mike Renfro. The Giants' first 3 possessions have all resulted in punts. They did have McConkey drop a pass for what could have been a touchdown.
And Sims is into that.
Largely on 2 long passes to Renfro, the Cowboys have 148 yards total offense. Sims going deep for Byron Williams. Good coverage and the pass overthrown. Ron Fellows was right with it. There's the man they call Bird because of his slight frame, Ron Fellows. Missed a couple of starts earlier in the year because of an injury he sustained in the season opener against the Redskins.
These guys like that. You know, they like to be put under the pressure and say, hey, isolate me out there. Let me go. They talk a good game, and, you know, they like to get out there and try to back it up. Sometimes they don't.
Morris in motion on 2nd and 10. Sims with time. Into the flat. Caught by Rob Carpenter for a gain of 3 to the 50. Dexter Clinkscale and Mike Higman make the tackles.
Sims trying to go deep, Vern, and try to get his wide receiver down on a deep route, and they had him covered well, and that time he just dumps it off to Carpenter. Clinkscale did a good job of reacting back and making the stop.
That will bring up a 3rd down and 7. Cowboys have not blitzed that much thus far. See what they have in mind here. Tony Galbraith and George Adams join McConkey and Bobby Johnson and Byron Williams at skill positions. Now they show a blitz look. And an audible from Phil Sims.
Now they check out, backing out.
Cowboys check out.
Now they're back up inside. Now Sims is frustrated and calls timeout. No, they got a penalty on this.
Too much time.
No, timeout.
He did call time. There's also a flag down. Let's see.
Number 11 offense, delay, 5 yards.
What happened was he anticipated the blitz. He made his audible call. The Cowboys, playing games with Phil that time, backed off and showed that they were checking out, going to something else, when in fact they were never going to anything. They were going to stay with the blitz. Then Phil realized that, so he said, holy mackerel, let me get back to my blitz audible. Too late.
As a result, it's now 3rd down and 12.
I bet they do the same thing again. There they are, lined up inside. Same exact look.
Bates and Clinkscale lined up. Downs backs away. No blitz. Sims
wide open.
Has a room. McConkey still free. As Thurman missed the tackle. And Dexter Clinkscale finally caught up with McConkey, who makes up for the drop in the first quarter.
McConkey come all the way across the field now. The really great job. Notice Bates backing out. It's a zone. White coming inside. Good job by his line of picking him up. Now Phil steps up, and there's McConkey wide open. They jump off into a zone. No one in the deep middle. And now good job by the wide receivers. He helps out on McConkey. Whoa, Dennis Thurman misses his tackle, and then down the sideline he goes.
1st and goal from the 7. Giants trail 7-0. Play fake. Blitz coming. Incomplete. Pressure coming from Mike Hegman, number 58, who was right at the point of Simms' shoulder when he delivered the ball. There's the Cowboys linebacker out of Tennessee State. Been a quiet fixture in that linebacking corps for a long time.
You're going to see is Hegman comes outside, comes inside, and he's going to meet right in the back of Phil Simms. One of the little crossing routes as we look at it now. There's a little play action. Now up inside goes Carpenter, and there's Hegman coming from the outside. Just enough to force Phil to get rid of the football.
George Adams checks into the backfield. Second and goal from the 7. Blitz. Simms.
Touchdown.
Touchdown is right. Bobby Johnson.
Well, they laid off of their safety blitzes. They faked, got them out, confused the Giants, forced a penalty. Then they jumped off into their fake blitz and went zone. Now they get up inside on the goal line, inside the 10-yard line, and come with the safety blitz and get burned.
Eric Schubert is on to try to tie it up with the extra point. As Simms burns the Cowboys secondary, he is now 6 of 13 for 107 yards. Watch it from the ground level, Terry.
Well, as you can see, everyone's dropping off. Roar coming from the outside, and then right up inside in the middle comes Downs, 26. And when you do that, you put your backs out here. Johnson, 88, man for man on Fellows, and he beats him, grabs the ball, great catch, touchdown.
Bobby Johnson ends a 53-yard drive with that 7-yard touchdown catch. We are tied as Schubert kicks it deep. Left side, Todd Fowler in the sunlight. That's 10. And only back to the 19-yard line.
You're going to look exactly and see what Simms is seeing as all of a sudden, right up through the middle comes Downs. Bart Oates, the center, does an outstanding job of sliding to his left, and he picks up the blitzer. That time, the back picks up the tackle, and a good job by Johnson of beating Fellows for the touchdown. He actually bounced that thing, then brought it back in, got his feet in bounds for the 6.
2 big pass plays, one to McConkey, one to Johnson. And we are tied at 7 as Danny White, having missed a couple of series with a bruised shoulder, is back in at quarterback. White for the day, 5 of 10 for 67 yards. Right flat, incomplete, intended for Gordon Banks. Terry, this is Gordon Banks' first extensive opportunity with the Cowboys. How much of an adjustment is it for a quarterback who's not worked with a receiver like this?
I asked Tom Landry that yesterday as we were watching practice. He was actually had these guys by the hand, Banks and Poe, and walking them through routes, making sure they understood. But the one thing he liked about Banks, and he said, he's an extremely intelligent man who has picked the offense up extremely quick. And he said that's, you know, that was all they needed to know. And he runs good routes and makes good catches.
2nd and 10 from the 19 with 11:36 to go, 7-7 game. Newsom is the motion man. Into the flat for Dorsett. And it's a gain of 2 yards. Harry Carson is there to make sure it's not more.
As you're going to see head in 54, as he comes inside, he is going to put the pressure on White. Now, when White sees this, the back is going to pass up. As you see right here, he's going to pass him up, and then there he is, Dorsett out in the flat. Now, they don't get a lot out of this, but this is kind of a scheme they're working. In comes one guy, out goes another guy.
3rd and 8. Cowboys are 3 of 6 on 3rd down conversions, and they will operate from the shotgun. Five-man rush. White with time. Intercepted. Picked off by Elvis Patterson. So much for the term toast, which is what he had been called because he's burned so often. That's a 27-yard return. And Patterson a little slow getting up.
From the shotgun, you're going to see Taylor going outside, trying to form a pick. Martin inside. Now, White stands in there with plenty of time to throw the football, and he underthrows. Actually, the ball's a little bit behind Poe as Patterson cuts in front and makes the grab.
First and goal. Joe Morris breaks the first. Doesn't break the second, loses yardage. Mike Hegman and Dexter Kingscale make the tackle.
As you look at Hegman, the real key here, Vern, for a defense is to penetrate, 10-yard line, penetrate. Don't let anything inside, force it outside, but penetrate. That time Hegman got in there, and he got his hands on Morris.
That's the first turnover of the ball game. That interception by Elvis Patterson is being helped out by the positions on the sideline. Second down and goal from the 10. Split back behind Phil Simms. Play fake. Right corner. Incomplete. Rawls was covering on Phil McConkey. It'll be 3rd and 10. And Michael Downs is over there as well. Phil Simms said last night it has been a long week in anticipation of this game. Not so much the media attention, but just anticipation of what it meant.
That, and he said, you know, a lot of study, a lot of film work. You know, he even went back so far as 5 or 6 years and said how after the 10th, 11th, 12th game, how tired they were.
3rd and goal. Adams and Galbraith are in. No shotgun. Blitz threatened by the Cowboys. Simms across the middle. That's an audible put in, especially for this game. Tony Galbraith. It's the same kind of play that Cincinnati worked against the Cowboys last year. They sneak Galbraith up, but this time it's a pass instead of a handoff.
Exactly. They let the guys penetrate, act like you're going to block them, and then from the shotgun, you can't tell. You know they're not going to hand the football off, and then dink, little dink right over the middle. That good job by Galbraith getting open.
Bill Parcells told us about the play last night and said, watch it. We call it the porpoise pass. Just lob it over the middle, and the Giants lead. After the first turnover of the game, it takes New York 3 plays to get it.
Outside, right up the middle, they're going to do a good job of picking him up, as you notice in the right there. Now look at number 30, Galbraith, sitting up inside. Now he's going to go over, going to pick you up. Oh, just a little bump. Now I'm wide open for the touchdown. 8-man rush. Good job that time by Simms and Galbraith.
Second time in as many weeks we have seen teams solve the puzzle of the Dallas Blitz. Running from the shotgun.
He said he would run it from the shotgun. That's what I was expecting. But the thing he did, he faked it and then Galbraith came over, made a little hit on Cleanscale, turned him loose, and he was wide open. So it's just another little wrinkle that the Cowboys are going to have to worry about.
Well, as a result of Galbraith's catch, the Giants lead it 14-7, and they are set to kick off. There's Tony Galbraith in his 10th year and gets a 10-yard touchdown reception. That is his first touchdown as a Giant. Kenny Duckett to the 32-yard line. Cincinnati has increased its lead over Washington to 24-7. Jim Breach with a field goal on top of the 2 Esiason touchdown passes. And, of course, the Giants are rooting like crazy for a Washington loss, coupled with a victory by New York here today. 14-7, New York, 9:42 to go in the half. First and 10. Back in the lineup. You're set. Not much room. Buffalo leading Pittsburgh 21-7 second quarter. Atlanta has taken an early lead over Minnesota in the second quarter. San Francisco by 4 over New Orleans down in the Superdome. Our score 14-7. 2 touchdown tosses now by Phil Simms, 1 to Bobby Johnson and 1 to Tony Galbraith, and both within the space of 4 minutes. The second followed the only turnover we've had today. Second down, 8. White, Cosby gives Kenny Hill a ride for 3 more yards from the 49-yard line. Cosby suffered a hyperextended knee when Mike Hagman fell on him the other day, and he was really in pain when we talked to him on Friday.
Said the one thing that they were going to have to do a lot of was crossing routes. As you see Cosby come down the field, sets up Hill, cuts back inside on a crossing route, and then White was able to get the football to him as Kennard 43 came over to help out Hill.
That's a gain of 17 for Cosby, his third catch, and puts him over 60 for the season. It breaks his personal best of 60 last year. He now has 61 for the Cowboys. Backs in the eye on first down 10. Reverse. Gordon Banks has to weave to get out of a big jam and loses a yard. Harry Carson was the man who made the tackle, and the Giants were not fooled for a second.
One of those sneaky plays at the top as Williams is coming in inside. He jiggles inside, gets here. Now he's going to penetrate up, and he's going to be sitting right there waiting on the reverse. Now you see him coming off the corner. No one's blocking, and White says, hey, where'd you come from? Then Williams actually overruns him and then banks back inside. And then finally they're able to come in and make the tackle as Carson does.
Mike Renfro back in the lineup. There's Perry Williams, number 23. Second down, 11. 14-7 New York leads. Into the flat for Newsom. And he runs right into Elvis Patterson. It'll be 3rd and 10.
You know, Vern, talking to Danny White, he was talking about you go Cosby across the field, and we're going to try to get Dorsett crossing across the field. And one other thing he said in their passing attack was, we think that we can get our backs in the flat going at their corners and hit them for 5 and 6 yards. Well, they've done that a couple of times, but heck, well, that time they lost 6 inches. So maybe they'll have to kind of get rid of that.
Think they will?
Well, I would.
3rd down and 10. From the shotgun, Carl Poe back in the lineup, the rookie. Top of your screen. Blitz is coming. White reads it. Incomplete. 4th down. Herb Welch with the coverage, and the Cowboys will have to kick. As Tony Hill was the intended receiver, but Watts was also in the area.
Well, we've seen corner blitzes. We've seen Williams come and try to put the pressure on him. Now you're going to see Lawrence Taylor at the top of your screen. He comes inside right there in the middle. He, along with number 54, heading both outside linebackers that time, blitzing White.
Mike Saxon to punt on 4th down 10 with 6:37 to go in the ball in the first half. Touchback. Coming up next weekend, a special edition on CBS, The Year in Sports, 1985. Who could have imagined? That all starts at 2 o'clock Eastern Time next Saturday. A special edition of Sports Saturday for you. Highlights of all kinds of things that went on during the sports year. Giants have it 1st down 10 from their own 20 with a 14-7 lead. Sims, 2 touchdown passes so far. Play fake again. With time into the flat, caught by Maurice Carthen. And Dexter Clinkscale, number 47, made the tackle with help from Eugene Lockhart.
Yeah, the Cowboys play a flex defense, which is really, Vern, it's a gap 8. There are 8 people responsible for gaps. And one of the ways to attack it on 1st down, because it is designed to stop the run, is to come out and fake the run, which is what Sims did. Turn around and throw those little passes out in a flat little swing hook. Boy, you get you 5, 6, 7 yards that way. And unless they change it, get out of the flex.
That's a gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. Giants lead 14-7. Play fake again. All day for Sims. Morris with a little stutter step gives New York a 1st down at the 34. Gene Lockhart makes the tackle. Look at it from the end zone.
Once again, it's a crossing route. It's a little play action to Morris. There goes Bavaro across the field. At the top of the film, you'll see, or the game, you'll see Johnson coming inside. Then Morris just slips out to the right, makes the grab, and gets the 1st down.
That is Giants' 7th 1st down, and Phil Sims is 9 of 17 for 131. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 5:11 to go in the first half. Again, the play fake. Again, going deep. Walls with good coverage, tips it away. Intended for Byron Williams, a speedster, but Walls was with him stride for stride. Everson, of course, leads the league in interceptions with 8, but hasn't had one in about a month.
Sometime during a game, you always like to air it out, kind of put it up there and let them know you got the arm. You let them know you're going to be thinking deep. And boy, this is just a great effort by Walls as the ball was right there. And then right at the very last, Walls sticks his hand up there and knocks it away.
If he wins that title this year, he'd become the first man in NFL history to lead the league in interceptions 3 separate years. Joe Morris. Watch him scoot. You never see him brought down by the first man, and you still haven't. Jones and Walls finally get there.
You're going to see this time Carpenter's in motion. He's out of the place. One of the little sprint out draw kind of actions. Then he just cuts up inside right through Randy White. Now he's in the secondary. Now Clinkscale 47. He says, hey, let me get a shot at you. Then finally, too tall Jones, Ed Jones, 72, has to come all the way downfield and make the stop.
Here come the Giants. Play fake again. No pressure again. Across the middle again to Galbraith, or Morris rather. And he's got the ball at the 40 in front of Mike Hegman.
Talking to Parcells yesterday, I was asking about Morris, and he said, you know, this guy, we didn't realize that he had eye problems. So we sent him down there a couple of years ago, and the guys check him out and say, hey, this guy's nearly blind. What you see from the 50-yard line, he'd have to get up on the 6-yard line if you were looking at the goalpost to see the same thing. So I said, well, did that change him? He said, well, we gave him glasses, and he could see what he's doing. Now he's a good receiver, and as we're seeing here in this drive, 2 first-down play actions, he's made both receptions.
3:47 to go in the half. Landry looking on with some degree of concern. Morris again, that might be enough for a first down. John Dutton made the tackle. See if they want to bring the chain out. 30 yards on 8 carries for Joe Morris now.
You know, it's kind of, here's something you can look at. Tomorrow they're going to vote. Monday they're going to vote on Pro Bowl. We got Dorsett and we've got Morrison here today. Now, in your opinion, could one of these guys that really outshines the other, could he be the guy that's selected?
Well, it depends, I would think, on how many are watching this particular game. If the players, before they vote, acknowledge what's going on here. I would think that based on the history that they have, Dorsett would be the favorite to get the spot. But you can't ignore 17 touchdowns and the kind of year that Joe Morris has had, becoming only the 2nd runner in Giant history to go over 1,000 yards.
Well, you gotta respect.
Would you put him in?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I asked you. I didn't want that burden on my back.
That's what I was
But you got to be
afraid of.
impressed with a guy that is his size and has the desire in the heart and has really the statistics to back it up.
3rd and a foot. 14-7 Giants. Morris has got the first down at the 35-yard line. And what a big lift this would be for the Giants if they can work on the clock here in the final 3 minutes and get at least some kind of score, because they have dominated the 2nd quarter.
Until Morris emerges as a great running back, Vern, they primarily like to throw the football, strike big. You know, Parcells says, hey, I like that ball down the field. But they've developed a more balanced offense of running and passing since this guy's come on so strong.
Cowboys haven't gotten a turnover yet. And Sims is back to play fake in the face of a blitz. And Sims burns the blitz one more time. Everson Walls in front of Byron Williams.
All-out linebacker blitz, play action that time inside to Adams, then turn around and fire the football outside, one-on-one outside. As you can see, Walls comes up and finally has to make the stop on Williams. Now let's look. Here's what happened. All these linebackers blitz up the middle, blitz from the outside, and when you blitz these guys, then you're isolating your receivers one-on-one. That's exactly what happened, and the Giants made a good job of picking it up and hitting the right guy.
And as the Giants are ready to call the play, we get the 2-minute warning. It has been an all-New York 2nd quarter. It has been said that Tom Landry has no sense of humor. That is not always the case. During a game between the Cowboys and Giants back in the early 70s in Yankee Stadium, a bomb threat was phoned into the press box. After the game, they asked Tom Landry, did you hear about the bomb threat? And he said, yes. said, what would you have done had it gone off? He said we would have paused for 30 seconds of respectful silence, then continued with enthusiasm. Septien will try and tie it up. Done. And for the 58th time in the last 6 years, Ed Too-Tall Jones has knocked down a pass.
You're going to see as he comes around, and then Jeffcoat comes up inside, and he comes behind Sims. Now there's the play. Now here comes Jeffcoat in the bottom left. Now up top you see Jones coming inside, gets that big right hand in there. Then Jeffcoat comes up inside, picks it up, and lumbers down the field. Look at that. Look at the stride on this guy. 77.
He looked like Larry Cole at his finest. He was a #1 draft choice 3 years ago, and said among his goals is to prove that the recent history of bad #1s for the Cowboys was not going to apply to him. Too-Tall, 7th time he's knocked down a pass this season.
Too-Tall, look at him, show him how he did. Got that right elbow in there, dipped my shoulder, got my hand on him.
Joe Morris. To the 20-yard line. That was a 65-yard return. For the young man from New Jersey who played his collegiate football at Arizona State, Jim Jeffcoat. Timeouts remaining. The Giants have all 3. And the Cowboys have 2. Jeffcoat back in there. And Sims goes right back to work. Dexter Clinkscale. And Jeffcoat is there.
Sims trying to avoid being sacked, moving outside. Actually ran into his left tackle, Brad Benson, who helps sack him.
No huddle offense with 1:25 to go. Now the Cowboys might want to think about a timeout. They do. Bill Bates. Bill Parcells. That 65-yard return with the intercepted pass was the first in Jeffcoat's career, and the first turnover for the Cowboys today. That is also the first pass interception by a defensive lineman for Dallas this season. And the Cowboys now have 1 timeout left.
It's been kind of disheartening, you know, as an ex-quarterback. I can certainly understand how Phil must feel. He's thrown the ball extremely well. He's had a sure touchdown dropped. He's had a key 3rd down pass dropped, and now he's thrown the football well. Now he steps up in there. Jones blocks the football, and I'd be doggone if it doesn't go behind him. And then Jeffcoat, the other defensive end, he picks it up and runs 65 yards.
We're just 1:16 from halftime, and coming up at the half, Brent Musburger will update the scores and highlights from around the league. He'll be joined in the studio by John Unitas and Jim McMahon as the NFL Today takes a closer look at yesterday's Bears-Jets game. 3rd down, 13. Now the Cowboys will use their final timeout. Ed Too Tall Jones. That is his 13th sack of this year. That is a career high.
Well, you're going to look at one of the really great defensive ends in the National Football League. Top left of your screen, 72. He's going to come around. Carl Nelson, right tackle, 63. Actually put it back over there, release the back. Now Nelson has a responsibility one-on-one on Jones, and he throws him to the outside and then goes back inside, makes the sack on Sims.
Cowboys use their final timeout with 1:12 to go, and Sean Landeta is in. Terry, put yourself in Phil Simms' spot, or any of the Giants. They're leading 14-7. They dominate the second quarter. They got the ball at the 25-yard line, and boom! Now, how do you come back from something like that?
Well, it is devastating. You can look at Phil Simms' face, and it's disappointing, and it really tears at your confidence. But, hey, as you look up here, you know, this thing's all tied up. It could be a lot worse, and the only thing you have to do is just forget it. And I think, as Parcells says, this is one tough customer right here, number 11.
Can you forget it?
You bet. Yeah, you can forget it. Tomorrow.
Landeta from the goal line, from the end zone, and Gordon Banks. And it's a fake, and it's picked off, and the Cowboys will recover. Dexter Cleasdale, touchdown Dallas. They might now rule it was a forward pass, incomplete, and the Cowboys will take over, no touchdown.
That's exactly right. And that's what they're ruling, Vern.
No fumble recovery. It was a forward pass. Here's Fred Silva.
We have an incomplete forward pass. First down, Dallas.
You're going to see Landeta standing in his end zone. Walsh coming from the left of your screen will force him to pull the ball back. Walsh goes by him, then Albritton hits him, so he throws the football forward, and that is that is a forward pass, incomplete. Cowboys football.
After the incomplete pass, the ball goes over on downs, and the Cowboys have it at the 12. With 1:05 to go in the first half, they have no timeouts left. Dallas blocked the punt last week in Cincinnati, and they were coming at Landeta. And what a remarkable sequence of events in the last 2 minutes. White, Renfro, touchdown. And White was buried after he let the ball go.
This was an excellent throw by White as he anticipated, Vern, something that at the goal line you really don't have a lot of time to do. You don't have the area to lay the football up, but it's the bottom of your screen. Renfro comes inside on Patterson, brings him back inside, goes to the corner, and then Danny has to get rid of the football because he's fixing to be sacked, and there's the completion, and there's the touchdown.
It was George Martin who found Danny White. Set the end, he finds the middle of the goalpost. After the interception return for the touchdown by Jeffcoat, White finds Mike Renfro for his second touchdown catch today.
The Giants that time had in their pass rushing group expecting to pass Martin. 75 at the bottom right of your screen is going to come up inside. Derek tries to trip him, then he gets free of him and puts his helmet right in those ribs that White has had injured. And then what makes it worse is he lands on him with his helmet stuck right in those ribs. And I'm sure it's not the wrist, it's not the shoulder, but it's that injury that White had earlier in the season burned to his ribs. He did a great job that time. He knew he knew he was going to be hit. He anticipated well, got rid of the football, got the touchdown, but he paid for it.
Septien will kick it off. Kenny Hill will return it. And and Jesse Penn hits him up around the helmet at the 28-yard line.
Well, if I were the Giants, I'd say, gee, what do? Do you run it? Maybe just put the knee on the ground and get the heck out of here. They've had the deflected pass, the punt that was messed up. I mean, everything's gone wrong for them here in the last 2 minutes.
Well, at the 2-minute warning, they had the ball at the Cowboy 25. It was then that Ed Jones tipped the ball. Jeffcoat picked it off 65 yards and ran it in for the touchdown. 3 plays, pressure on the punter, turnover on downs, and the Cowboys get their second touchdown in a minute. Sims, Jeffcoat, ball was down. The ball was dead. Jim Jeffcoat is playing like a man possessed.
Well, the thing that's happening is that Sims is holding the football, trying to get the football down there 15, 20, 25 yards, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your tackles, especially Brad Benson, number 60, who has Jeffcoat that time. There you see it again. He's got him. Now Jeffcoat shoves him aside, pushes him, gets around him. Sims standing there 4.5 seconds and just can't put that much pressure on the offensive line. What I'm impressed is how quickly he got up and gathered up the fumble.
2nd and 19 with 31 seconds to go in the half. Up the middle they tried with Tony Galbraith, and Dexter Clinkscale made the tackle. It was Clinkscale who said in the locker room yesterday, and of course he was a spark point of all of the first game controversy, the words going back and forth as timeout is called. And Dexter has been a quiet figure for the most part this week, but yesterday said, I don't know how Phil Sims will play in a big game. He hasn't been in any. Well, he's in a big one today, and he's played quite well. You really can't fault Sims for the deflection from Ed Jones.
Well, I know if I could put myself in Clinkscale or any other defensive back's shoes, I would want to keep my big mouth shut, because a guy with the ability of Sims and the receivers they have, regardless that, you know, Manuel's not playing, I would want this guy to think how great he is. I would just say he's the greatest I've ever seen. I love him. I think he's a wonderful. He handles clutch games well. And, boy, I'd blow so much smoke that this guy'd send me a Christmas card. I would doggone if I insult him. He's liable to come out there and pick on me. I might even send him a Christmas gift.
Well, we asked Phil last night how the animosity started between these two teams. So there goes Danny White to the locker room with bruised ribs. That's a report from the bench. They will check him at halftime. He may or may not be back. We've got 14 seconds to go in the first half. 21-14 Dallas. Again, it's Galbraith. And again, a big hole. And he is out near the 39. And the clock stops with 8 seconds to go and another timeout. Phil Sims said last night, he said, I think I might be responsible for igniting this controversy between the two teams. He was sitting in the locker room here last year after the Giants had beaten the Cowboys 19-7 on the day they celebrated their silver season. And he said, you know how those locker room conversations are. There are 15, 20 writers around. And late in the afternoon, a guy who was obviously a Dallas writer whom Phil did not know came up and says, man, you guys beat the Cowboys twice this year. And Phil said, I looked at him and I thought, well, you're asking me as if we're not supposed to. He said, that's what we do in this league. We try and beat each other. And Phil took it with some degree of unhappiness. And he says, yeah, we beat them twice. Why shouldn't we?
He probably said, we'll probably beat them twice again one of these days.
Right.
Well, anyway, that got back to the defensive backs, and they said, oh, okay. You know, another thing that he does, Sims, that's really different. You know, they used to get on the gas. You know, they changed that rule where you can't do all that dance and everything. And when he throws those touchdown passes, he gets down real low, cranks up that right arm, and really points. And, you know, and you got to think, well, these guys are seeing that, and maybe they're not liking that too well either. But hard as those touchdown passes are to come by, I don't blame him one bit.
21-14 could be the final play of the first half. On fourth down, Morris gets a first down and a lot of Randy White.
Makes you wonder why they call timeout.
I don't know if bizarre is the right word, but it's been unusual. That's the end of the half with a score, Dallas 21, the Giants 14.